This morning's Breakfast Bible Bites comes from Psalm 72, verses 1 and 2, which speaks prophetically about when justice and righteousness will rule on the earth. Can you pray with me? Thy kingdom come. Verse 1 reads, Give the king your judgments, O God, and your righteousness to the king's son. If this psalm is what we believe it to be, a prayer composed by David in anticipation of Solomon's ascension to the throne, then the right to reign has begun to be transmitted by the right of ascension from David to Solomon to Rehoboam, rather than how David and Saul were appointed kings by God. Israel was about to morph into a theocracy, and the kings were to be monarchs of a greater king. Hence the prayer that the new king might be enthroned, blessed by divine decree and endowed with godly wisdom. David is praying that God will bestow on Solomon the qualifications that would ensure his reign to be one of justice and peace. The psalm also contains a prophetic element that refers ultimately to the coming Messiah and his reign during the millennial kingdom. Historically, looking back on the reign of Solomon, we can see some of these elements which will be emblematic of the millennial reign of Christ. The prayer psalm assumes the known attributes of the Messiah, and David prays for these qualities and characteristics that they will be applied to his son, the soon-to-be new king of Israel. For in the psalmist's mind he knows righteousness is a premier quality of a godly king, one who is appointed to administer justice, to maintain the laws of God, and to exercise judicial power. The psalmist sees the character of a godly king as being a fountain of justice and righteousness. We read in Colossians 2:3, where it speaks of God's mysterious plan, which is Christ himself, the King of kings. In him lie hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. Psalm 72:2 reads, May he judge your people with righteousness and your afflicted with justice. David's prayer for Solomon sets him up as an archetype for the coming reign of the Messiah and is in complete agreement with Isaiah's prophecy found in Isaiah 11:10. On that day, the root of Jesse will stand as a banner for the people. The nations will seek him, and his resting place will be glorious. May Solomon rule as the psalmist knows the Messiah will rule, clothed with divine authority, that he may judge judiciously and in righteousness. As the Messiah sits on the throne in Jerusalem, true wisdom will be manifest in all of his decisions, and not since Joseph ruled in Egypt has true justice been handed out evenly. This will invoke a spirit of loyalty and commitment to all who share in his administration on earth. Isaiah gives us a clearer depiction of Christ's millennial reign in Isaiah 11:1-5. Then a root will grow up from the stump of Jesse, and a branch from his roots will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, a spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of counsel and strength, a spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord. His delight will be in the fear of the Lord. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes. He will not execute justice by what he hears with his ears. But he will judge the poor righteously and execute justice for the oppressed of the land. He will strike the land with discipline from his mouth, and he will kill the wicked with the command from his lips. Righteousness will be a belt around his loins. Faithfulness will be a belt around his waist. Can we look forward to the day when Christ will reign from Jerusalem and justice will prevail on earth? The larger question is, will you be there? Are you an overcomer? Will you rule with him? Revelation 2:26-29 reads, The one who is victorious and keeps my works to the end, I will give him authority over nations, and he will shepherd them with an iron scepter. He will shatter them like pottery, just as I have received this from my Father. I will also give him the morning star. Anyone who has an ear should listen to what the Spirit says to the churches.